Herm Edwards. He knows the business, ESPN NFL college football analyst. What do you make of what Deion's saying that other schools are saying, hey, don't go there because he's going to go elsewhere?
Yeah, I dealt with that myself. When I got back, he's going to go back to pro football, all those things. That's just part of it. But it's kind of ironic anymore because as much as the players say, well, the coach is going to leave, by the way, they leave too now. The portal, the transfer portal.
Yeah.
You got to recruit them after every game if they're not playing, right? So it works both ways.
What is tougher, coaching in the NFL or coaching in college now?
Oh, I would say college.
Really?
Because of the fact that you got to constantly recruit your guys. And that's just part of the deal now. That's part of what you do. And it's difficult at times because you're trying to build a football team. And when the season ends, you don't know who's leaving, who's staying. A freshman guy that's been pretty good, played a little bit. All of a sudden, some other school's after him. He comes in and he tells you his story. And certain guys obviously are saying these schools are after me, coach, and here's the number. And so can you match the number, right? It's interesting.
What's the biggest number you had to pay out?
Well, I'm not going to get into that. I'll tell you this. I lost 8 of them.
You lost 8 players.
One of them might win the Heisman.
Oh, okay.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Right. I had Jaden for 3 years. I had him as a freshman.
That's a special player.
Yeah, he's really good. Good kid. I talk to him probably once every other week.
So LSU came up with a better offer.
Well, I don't know what, it's just, like I said, I lost 8 of them.
But it's legal. It's legal, though, ish, right?
Yeah. Good for them. He's playing good.
I love it. NIL, transfer portal.
It's free agency.
I know. And I can't imagine, like, you're watching your kids, and then you're like, hey, has anybody seen Tommy? You didn't hear? I think he's visiting whatever, Texas A&M. Wait a minute. I thought isn't he happy here? He wants to be happier.
You know what's really interesting now, because I'm getting calls from scouts that are looking at some of the guys that left, and they're calling me and say, Coach, I know he was with you for 2 or 3 years. Can you tell me a little bit about him? I said, oh, yeah, he's a great kid, whatever. I'm giving him a good recommendation because they were all good kids. It's just in today's world, it's just part of it. You know it when you get into this, especially in college coaching anymore.
All right, let's look at the Harbaugh-Michigan situation. What do you think of the crime? What do you think of the punishment?
Well, I'll say this. I think it's galvanizing this football team. I think he's done a fabulous job of dealing with a team that has a lot of mental toughness. And I just think that it's unfortunate, the situation that has occurred. Looking at signals and trying to get signals. This has been going on.
But could you imagine one of your assistant coaches doing that, and you not knowing it?
Well, hey, all I know is this, and you know this too, Dan. When you are the leader, no matter what, you get to make a lot of decisions, right? And you get to make decisions, you set policies. But here's the deal. It's like when you watch a football game, a coach makes a lot of decisions on what's about to be called, but he has no control of what those players are about to do when the ball is being hiked. And it's the same way in college football, pro football. You make a lot of decisions. You tell people you trust them, and you let them go do their jobs. And then when things like this occur, guess what?
It's on you.
It's on you.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. It's hard. And I'm not going to get into the weeds with it because I don't know the whole story. It's a hard deal, man. And I've sat in that seat, and I know how that feels.
Talking to Herm Edwards, former NFL player, coach, now working for the mothership. I saw this Inside USC with Scott Wolf, great reporter. Lincoln Riley's name just keeps coming up for jobs. Several college coaches told me yesterday they heard that Riley has interest in the Texas A&M job. He's revered in Texas, the coach said. He likes recruiting in Texas, has high school connections there. I think there's something to it. What do you make of that?
Well, he's a hot commodity. I mean, if you want offense, if you want to score 50 points, he's your guy. There's no doubt about that. And this is part of college football anymore. These guys move around. College coaches move around more than NFL coaches, to be quite honest. Yeah. You can't keep your coaching staff. They're always, it seems like you're losing a guy or two every year. And I just think if they come after you and your contract states that that you can leave, a lot of these guys will leave. I think a lot of these contracts now that these coaches have, there's certain stipulations in the contract where you got to stay a certain amount of time. So,
but you said I think you're on record as saying Lane Kiffin would be a good choice for Texas A&M.
Sure, I've known Lane. I mean, Lane was a ball boy when we were in Tampa together with Monty. Monty was a coordinator down when I was down there with Tony. And so I've known Lane quite a long time. I think he brings offense and college football now. I mean, you've watched it, Dan. I mean, you got to score. You can't even stay in the game if you don't score over 30 points. You got to score the ball in college football because the way they play anymore, they spread you out and they use the whole field. They just throw it around a lot. They just do. That's what it looks like. And he can recruit. He'll be good with the alums. He's always going to have an opinion, which is kind of good, right? He can stir it up with the best of them.
That's true.
I just think, he would be a guy. He's used to the conference. He can recruit in the conference. He's good in the living room, and he's a good football coach.
Yeah, you're talking about coaches who are on the move, and we don't even blink when somebody said, when you say, "Well, he could end up at Texas A&M," or Lincoln Riley could end up at. It didn't used to be that way.
No.
Like there's no loyalty at anywhere. It feels like in college football, like the players, the coaches, whatever's best for me. It's all individualistic.
And that's the hard part, especially if you come from the old school, right? Because you can't stay too old school. You kind of move on. But I just think that there's certain guys you've watched at certain universities, and they've been there for quite some time. They're not leaving. They're just kind of hunkered in there. And there's other guys that move. And I just think, according to what generation you're in, that's the mindset you have as a coach.
Could you see an offense, Herm, going old school? Like Nebraska used to when with that running attack big linemen, because it feels like somebody's going to have a counterattack where everybody's got smaller, quicker defensive players where maybe we just go, we have a home field advantage. This is our system. We're going to do it. Can you see that happening?
Great point. I don't think you go to the extent of Army, but I think you make a great point. And there's some schools, you look at Washington, you look at Oregon, they still run the ball, right? They can pound it on you. Oregon State does a really good job. It's a pro offense. Coach does a marvelous job. He uses the tight ends. He uses play action passes. They can pound you, right? Stanford was like that when Coach Shaw was there. We were like that a little bit at Arizona State. We wanted to run the ball. We had some good running backs. Rashad White, obviously, with the Bucks now. We had Ayuk as one of the receivers. We had some guys. We were a pro-style offense. We weren't opened up as much. So there's some coaches that still do that. The problem with that is this. When you get behind in college football, you get down 3 scores, you have to have the ability to open it up. You just do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's part of the deal.
Great to talk to you as always. Hope you're having fun.
I'm having a lot of fun. I'm like you. Every time something happens, I don't even scratch my head anymore. I go, oh, okay. What else? Yeah, it's always something, Dad, right?
It is.
When you think you've seen it all, you look again, you go, really? Okay.
He's Herm Edwards, ESPN NFL college football analyst, former NFL and college coach. Thank you, Herm.
Thank you, my friend.